Okay, first and foremost, this is going to be, I'm going to be reading something off. It's not going to be as interactive as a video as most videos are, I guess. And also, just going to say ahead of time, I'm kind of out of it, so yeah. And here I go, just, touching on what I was hinting at last time I made a video. I'm sure this is not new to anyone that's been through this kind of situation. Anyway, the subject matter I touched on in the last video, I feel like I can adequately touch on at the moment. I'm, kind of in the appropriate headspace to do so. And especially considering no one's really heard from my brother for like a week or so at this point, which isn't, too uncommon for his situation or for my family, in general. As we've gotten older, we just kind of do our own thing. But yeah, with his situation, you never really have any idea, like, if he's even alive or, what he's up to. Basically, I'm doing this video on family members of someone addicted to heavy, hard drugs. Not the soft drugs. We all know what I mean by soft drugs. And, in specific, in our case, it's heroin and I think crack. Pretty sure crack as well. So, when you are a family member of someone in that situation, you're never really sure, what they're doing. You find yourself awake in the middle of the night sometimes wondering if they're alive, if they're happy, which they can't possibly actually be considering how they're usually living when they've hit a certain point. You'll stop yourself in the middle of enjoyable, mundane, everyday tasks or activities and ask yourself, or question yourself and wonder why they can't simply enjoy living life for what it is sometimes, or even on softer substances I mentioned again. Again, when you have a family member, that does heroin, you want to be there for them. You want to maintain hope that there is or will come something else that they find is worth living for, but at the same time, you have to distance yourself for your own good and also your own self-preservation. You have to start taking everything they say or do with a grain of salt, because you honestly can't trust that whatever they're saying or whatever is motivating them to say it is the truth, at any point. It is the most fascinating disconnect to grow up with a family member. Even for my family, we've never really been your stereotypical warm, huggy, family dinner type family. We've kind of always just been aloof. I don't know why. I guess it's just our temperament. Or both my parents kind of had weird. Well, no, my mom had a weird childhood. I guess my dad didn't have the warmest parents either. So that together, we've always been kind of. Anyway. Even so, you're still a family. You've still lived with these people all your life for the most part. You never get used to that foreign compulsion to guard yourself and your possessions and your emotions and your weaknesses with a person that has that big of a drug problem. I'm the type of person that values trust and enjoys being deep and open with people I care about. And being that way, I found that I've been forced to kind of distance myself even more so than other people. Doubly so. I've just seen the way he's taken advantage of my parents' hope and trust and love. And it's sickened me at times. I can understand he has a disease. I hope this video doesn't run on too long. Okay, I'm not listening. Yeah, I understand he has a disease, but, experiencing the way someone like that can manipulate their family members in order to help them out and enable them, it's kind of forced me to keep my distance even more. So we've never been that close since we were like small kids. But, you know, since all this happened, it's just, yeah. So, with that, you know, we've all tried being supportive in many ways. And as the saying goes, and as the saying never changes, they never get better until they truly want to get better. And, you know, that is obviously the truth. I just find myself wishing that he kind of formed or held on to some kind of dream or a goal or something that he could look forward to in life. I always tell myself perhaps someday he'll find his calling, but as the years go by, I find myself trying to prepare myself for the news that he's been found dead, or prepare myself for walking into a room or a basement and seeing him unconscious or dead, making horrifying sounds and foaming at the mouth. I feel like he's completely mentally and emotionally isolated himself from anyone other than addicts, other drug addicts. He has very little, if nothing, to do with anyone else. At first, I thought it was a self-confidence thing, which it may have stemmed from, but at this point, he's been given so many opportunities. People have shown him and proven to him that they care for him as a person, that they see potential in him. And then, after a little while, time and time again, you know, he winds up back in his inner circles and crawling back into that hole. That dark hole. Dink. You know, after a second stint behind bars, after losing a fiancé, a day before finding out he would be out of prison, you know, fairly shortly, his appeal had worked. It had gone through, and he was going to be out of prison. His fiancé passed away a day before finding it out on the same substance. And, you know, after attending graduation, or, you know, after graduating multiple programs and finding, you know, a legit job on paper and getting his life together, you know, everything was going so well. And, you know, I don't know. It's like he didn't want a chance. It's like he had no chance. He didn't give himself a chance. He does things like... I just wonder what would happen if that hadn't happened with his fiancée passing away. But at the same time, she passed away on the same substance, so the same thing I'm about to mention would probably have happened anyway. Since then, he, you know, had come home. He'd gotten, like I mentioned, a real job. Unfortunately, he... found someone to date while he was in treatment, which is never a good idea, obviously. They constantly fought. They constantly fight to this day, you know. But apparently they both could not fight the urge to go back to their old habits. And at this point, you know, they've enabled it completely. They've moved out from, you know, living here. They've domesticated this lifestyle. It is the norm, so they have no reason to want to get better, I guess. Even though they're completely, from what I hear, miserable, you know, living situation-wise. The only time we hear from him is when he's frantic or in need of some sort of retreat. We'll hear things about his girlfriend abusing him, putting him in the hospital, stealing his car, having people sent after him to hurt him, beat him up, whatever, and then he returns here over and over again. And, you know, at this point, you're not really sure where the lies begin, where they end, if they end, how involved the drugs are in everything, which obviously they play a major role, but, you know, whether he's doing things he has no business doing, which he probably is. If anything in the house is missing from his brief stays here, like he was here a week ago, and said he was never going back to his girlfriend's house. He was here for one day, brought his PlayStation, brought his clothes, brought all of his belongings, and then he disappears, say, the very next day, after trying to touch base with people. It's like you never know if he's going to die of an overdose or if he's going to get stabbed or shot. You don't know. You know, that is what you get to contemplate every day. You don't hear anything from someone like this. heroin addiction, or any hard drug addiction is an entire universe of chaos and devastation. It's a black hole of a problem that sucks up everything close enough in range, unless it has somehow managed to crawl away, scratching, biting, and kicking to safety. You wonder why everyone and everything involved seems so helpless and hopeless, obviously, realistically. Yeah, that was a somewhat vague summary of what it's like dealing with someone like that and the issues they bring into your life. There's no way I could possibly summarize it all in this short video. And yeah, so that was on my mind, considering recent events. My brother, being who knows where, not speaking to who knows anyone, whatever. I can't even articulate right now. But that was that depressing subject matter I didn't really care to speak about last time because I wasn't in the headspace technically not in the headspace to do it now, and I'd even poured myself a glass of wine. Whoops. And also spilled it, that I never got a chance to drink because I was too. Whatever. This is getting past 10 minutes. Oh, we're at 11:18. Alright, hopefully this uploads to YouTube. Bye.